gotta leave it to the professionals.
Started off with a bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, yo, set it up.
Surfing on the web and I'm shooting at 3. I've been goated when I got my G. I'm an alien boy from a different planet, yeah. So I got my drink, I'm riding in the 1920s Model T Ford. Call her Era Lord. Call me Levi, playing on the keys, boy. And I'm about to put my gloves on. If I said it, then I meant that. Yeah, I like that one, I'm about to get that. Crash that whip for the drumsticks, whiplash. I'm about to get them all. Are you with that? In a white boat, surrounded by blue. I want one, but I got a cop too. I wanna fly high in the sky, arms out wide, trying to soar from a bird's eye view. I'm on fire, Ricky, Bobby, cracking the pavement, Whitney, Bobby. I'm a Saki bomb, Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Bruce Wayne been a dog, and I keep it 101, cause I'm feeling kinda spotty. You sipping on Ciroc and I'm sipping on Octane. The only thing around my neck is the blockchain.
Now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, yo, set it up.
NFT, Twitter, blockchain. Seeing with the ghosts and we ballin' like the Brown James. Crypto. We can make a trade, get the memo. Reviews not falling for the FOMO. Listening to Coffee with Captain. You know we worldwide, they loco. I ain't never gonna stop rapping. Orlando, yeah, we working magic. We rocking Ethereum NFTs. I just went and caught me a half base. Man, I got a shout out
Started
to
off with a bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, yo, set it up.
Freaking the mood to choose one, but they got knowledge to move, son. I'm shocking in shades with my brother in shoes. Yeah, them blues is coming. Even though it's hard to pick, eeny, miny, mo, soda on the mix, no biting lips, it's time to go. Index number 1, no thumbs up, you gotta scroll. Looking at the ghost in studio, it's time to go. Had a helmet on by myself until I met a mask that wanted to have a face off. So had to bring my chainsaw, full tank of gas in the drive with my brakes off. I'm A1, but a different kind of steak sauce.
Welcome to Coffee with Captain, powered by ApeCoin, where we dive into all things crypto, NFTs, Web3, and cutting-edge technology. Remember, nothing here is financial advice. Early-stage tech can be exceptionally volatile and risky. So grab your coffee and join Cap and Steve for today's conversation.
Welcome to the future.
Welcome to Coffee with Captain GM. Thanks so much for joining us. If you haven't done so, do us a favor, drop us a GM in the chat down below, then have top, smash the like, repost, the bookmark on today's space. We greatly appreciate it. Warms up the algo, does us a real solid, and would be greatly appreciated. We're live over in the YouTube streets. Those are our best GMers. They get in there early, as well as the abstract chat. I'm going to go grab the YouTube link and pin it up top. If you've not yet, even if you're not going to chat or drop us a GM over in YouTube, we'd really appreciate a sub over there. Our guy Payne, my bad. Our guy Payne working hard to get those clips out there and grow that account. So I'm going to drop that in the chat right now. I'll pin it up top. And as we go through the show today, no rush, but if you can take 5-10 seconds, head over there and give us a sub. It means a lot. It does help and is greatly appreciated. I just heard Duke's stomach like nasty growl, Steve. So heads up on that one. As always, I'm Cap, Jim McCo, Steve. Never any financial advice this year. Crypto is risky, NFTs are risky, meme coins exceptionally risky. Go to zero moments notice. Please don't put any money you can afford to lose. No, Steve and I hold tokens we'll talk about from time to time here in the show. We're not financial advisors, certainly not your financial advisors. Don't join us for that. Just join us for some fun, some information, and education along the way. GM Steve, how you doing, sir?
GM, good. GM to all the abstract chatters. We're Ed Machiavelli out there early on, right off the rip. Machiavelli, always honestly in all the things, like one of the ultimate homies when it comes to supporting the homies. Like, be more like Machiavelli. Like, so, like, look, we have obviously, Teacher Katie's here every day, RDL, Von Frunten, all of our good friends out there, and Von Frunten, another one, obviously great out there, hitting all the major chats. We love all the people who hit all the chats. OC, Chief, Mel. I haven't even gotten to Mel's scroll down yet, but I'm sure it's in there. 1 in a million out there this morning. Always love when 1 in a million tweets us like later in the afternoon and is like listening back to Coffee with Captain. That's a guy that's subscribed
I
to
see
the
it the next morning. I don't know when you see it. I see it's like one of the first things I see in the morning is one in a million's notifications from catching the replay later in the day.
Yeah, I'm at this horrible, like I've talked about it before on the show. I think I'm at this horrible place on the sleep spectrum where I'm, basically like work during the day, trying to get workouts and didn't yesterday because I was just going kind of wire to wire on some stuff and just catching up from vacay. And when it comes like last night, the kids wanted to hang out. It was like 7:30. They're 11 and 13. They want to hang out with mom and dad. Like, we hung out. Everyone has to do showers. Next thing you know, like, they're kind of messing around. It's the summer. It was like 11 p.m. And it's like, and then I'm like, well, I want to watch a little bit of Love Island with Dawn because we want to hit a trashy reality show for a little bit. Next thing you know, I'm like, all right, we're going to bed early tonight. Now it's midnight. So, like, I just, I don't know. I see it at night, not in the morning. I'm actively trying to figure out if I can like get myself to get to bed earlier and what I want to sacrifice or move around to shuffle to do it because I admire your routine. It used to be my routine when I was in the corporate world. It used to be 5 to 6 a.m. at the gym, work out, shower in there.
I appreciate that. I can't take any credit for it. It's my circadian rhythm. It's just I'm not doing anything special. I just it would be a struggle for me to stay up till 11:30. Midnight. If not like I was going out and had like late caffeine or something, my body just shuts down at like 9 o'clock and fall asleep. And then I pop even if I don't want to be awake, I'm usually wide awake at like 4 or 5. I actually slept in today, woke up at 5:45. I was like, whoa, what happened? And so I was like scrambling. I didn't actually, fun front, I did not get a sauna session in this morning because I'm usually up at the gym at 5 and I didn't even wake up till 5:45 today. So it depleted my morning routine.
Yeah, I am I would say like I always used to think I was an early riser because I was good at getting up early. I honestly think most of it is I'm just disciplined when it comes to stuff like that, or I was anyway at one point. I'm clearly not at the moment, but I think it's just discipline because I think I have a perfectly average circadian rhythm. Like I'm the most average looking white dude in the world, 40-year-old white dude, dark hair, dark eyes, 5'10". I'm a little heavier than I should be right now, but usually like anywhere from 175 to 185 pounds. The most average person ever to, my name's even Steve. It's the most average person ever to exist. But
I mean, I think I can top you with being named Christopher, born in 1980. Pretty sure it was the most common boy name for like a 3 to 5 year stretch.
I mean, my name is Stephen John. It's pretty bad, but it's like, I always say, like, if you took like a police sketch composite or you like did an AI generation of the most average middle-aged white dude on the face of the planet, they'd be like, here he is, his name's Steve. Actually, he's in crypto now. But like, I don't know, like, it's just my circadian rhythm, I think, just wakes me up at 9 a.m. naturally. Like, I've noticed, like, when I was on vacation, I would wake up between 8 a.m. and like 9:30 at the latest. Even if I stayed up really late, if I went to bed early, when I was sick, didn't matter, between 8 and 9 usually naturally. So it's like, mine naturally says go to bed between 10 and 11, wake up between 8 and 9. Sometimes it's stay up later. Sometimes I get up earlier every day. So I'm definitely jelly. I'm a little bit of a jellyfish on that one. Peanut butter and jealous of you, but I'd like to have the circadian rhythm.
Did everyone else get logged out or just me? I had to relog into everything. I was like scrambling this morning to get into Stream Drop. I think I pinned that up top. There's a Stream Drop mobile going live. But I got logged out of everything, including Stream Drop or Stream, which is requires an X approval or X authentication that was the login, and I had to scramble for my YubiKey, and like it's it's funny because it's passport, wallet, YubiKey. But I wasn't there, and I was freaking out for a brief second because I don't know what I would do if I couldn't get logged into this app. There's got to be. I should probably figure that out now before I actually lose the YubiKey, right? Like, there's got to be a sale-proof, like, recovery method. I have no idea what it is, and I should absolutely figure out what that is before I lose the YubiKey. Because inevitably, at some point or another, I'm probably going to misplace this thing.
Yeah, that's pretty important. So I would do that. But actually, two funny cold open stories, and we can get into news. I know we got everything. By the way, retweet the room. I was saying the reason I was saying earlier, be like Machiavelli. Dude, repost the space. Dude, repost the stream. Dude shows up at all the chats and GMs. Went to my Substack, repost, likes. I see that. I see you out there, friend. I get it. Going to do another article this week after I took a week off for the vacation last week, and Probably getting some interviews moving forward as well. But yeah, it's be that guy. Like, repost, and comment. It's how we help it. Look, if you like us doing the show, sponsors like the impression. Sponsors like to see us getting people out there. So if you like the show and you like us out here, like, repost. It's simple as that. Comment, and it helps us out.
I think the robots might be broken, Steve. I don't know if you missed it. Grok has went unhinged. They're like shutting down Grok 3, turning on Grok 4, and is near the end of life of Grok 3. I don't know. Some people are saying it appears it became self-aware. It definitely went off the rails. I'm not even gonna go there, but I just asked ChatGPT most common boy names by year starting in 1980. This is what it gave me. This can't be right.
What did it say? I can't see.
Like, there's no way this is right? Most common baby boy names by year starting from 1980 to 1990. ChatGPT thinks Michael was the number one name for 10 years in a row. There's no way that's right. I mean, I know Michael Jordan was the GOAT, but there's no way everyone named their child.
I was gonna say, if people do sports things, it's like the amount of Hermiones that came out after Harry Potter. So like
I would actually
83,
probably buy it if it started in 86.
Yeah, like 84, 85 at least. Yeah.
1980 Michael. I think this is ChatGPT must be broken as well.
Yeah, at least 85. He's hitting shots in Chapel Hill, but yeah, I don't know. Two quick cold open stories because your YubiKey reminded me of one. Weiss at work the other day, she hears someone mention crypto. Her ears perk up naturally because she is also a degenerate who owns several NFTs and a bunch of other things. Mesh says Michael Jackson. That's a hard name after. Good thing Michael's a common name because like being named after Michael Jackson in retrospect, being like disavow, be like, I don't know. But
I've come around. I think, I don't know. Probably not a conversation worth getting into, but
this could go a lot of directions with me fighting Michael Jackson, disavow.
I think he was done dirty. I'm not saying he was perfect. I think he probably did some things that were not right. Like the whole idea of having Neverland Ranch is really weird. I think he was probably caught up in I think a lot of I think Prince was probably done dirty. I think a lot of these
Prince was done dirty. Michael Jackson gave alcohol to kids, and
is that confirmed though? Is that
yeah? Unless you don't believe several kids who said they had alcohol, and I believe said they were like sexually assaulted. Like
yeah,
there's a whole documentary on it. Like Macaulay, like all these people who
I've not went down the rabbit hole. But I also believe
I can send you some stuff. I would not go this direction on this one though.
Well, again, I've not researched it, so maybe I'm completely wrong. I do believe that some of the people who were raked over the coals and allegedly did things pre-social media, I don't believe all the stories that if there was no actual case, if there was no actual court, it just people come out and said something. I think there could have been other motives there. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, I think Michael Jackson.
I can't imagine someone doing something to my child and not taking legal action. Like it would not happen. Like I would probably kill someone. Actually, I would probably be in jail. So it's hard for me to fathom that stories like that coming out and nothing happening. Like I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of things involved there. So this is sort of like the situation where people think like they don't know, so their kid because think about it, kids don't speak up, they get scared, and then kids are they're the biggest celebrity in the world takes an interest in your kid. You're like, dude, of course, oh my god, what a fortunate situation. Parents don't know any better, especially if you come from a bad time. Jambert's talking about the hush money that happened, and yeah, there's some documentaries on Michael Jackson where he says some things that are incredibly creepy and weird himself from his own mouth. Sure. So
I also think he was I think it's highly likely he was bad things happened to him as a child. I think it's
oh no, we know that for a fact. Like his dad was there are documentaries on the Jackson 5. They've all talked about it enough.
I mean, even beyond his family, beyond his dad being just a lunatic. I think he was one of the biggest child stars ever. And knowing what we know now about how fucking creepy Hollywood and these circles are, it's bad shit. And it's almost certainly he got really nasty. People did really nasty shit to him as a kid, I would guess.
Yeah, it's sort of so I think all these things are true. So on that part, I would agree with you in the sense that I think bad behavior often begats bad behavior. So oftentimes when you find out about somebody who is doing something wrong, you look in their past and look, how often do you see it on a microcosm? Like I live in the in the suburbs, and like I see kids who act up and then I meet their parents and I was like, makes sense. Like, so like, it's like bad behavior. Like I know somebody, let me put it this way. I'm not going to say who, but I know somebody relatively close to me. Their kid got kicked out of like a swimming class, which is like, as like a 3-year-old, which like doesn't happen. It's just like not a thing that happens. I know the parents. I wasn't surprised. And I know the siblings too. And I was talking to my mom about it. I'm like, she's like, yeah, but who knows? Could happen to anyone. I was like, Mom, if you were picking out of those siblings, which kid got kicked out of swimming class? Like, you'd get it right the first try. And again, like, it's just the parents' behavior isn't super things happen. So yeah, I think, anyway, point is like childhood's definitely begat and parenting matters always.
I feel bad for Bieber right now. Like, I just like, I can only imagine.
Oh, Justin Bieber? Oh my God. Yeah.
Like, I feel for him, and I shouldn't feel bad. Like, I'm sure he's still multimillionaire, but just I can't imagine. And knowing what we know about Diddy now, like, it's sickening, man. And it's sickening on all levels. And I'm not condoning someone that had really bad shit done to them, and then they turn around and do bad shit to kids. Like, it's awful. It is deplorable. Like, though, like, I actually don't know how I net out on the death penalty, but if I was going to say, yeah, that person should be executed, it'd be people that do things to kids.
Yeah, I think that one is like, yeah, not great. It's one of those ones that I feel
like yesterday's cold open topic.
Yeah, well, I mean, and there's the guy who never got jail topic, by the way, or jail time, who killed the guy who with his dog. Anyway, we'll go a different direction though. This is getting dark. I was gonna say, like, Dawn was at work yesterday, and we're gonna get into the cold open from yesterday because it's worth talking about, because I think it's, we got some stuff, but
better than
yeah, the Michael Jackson, look,
I'm sweating. Like,
generally speaking, probably a no good kitty fiddler, but also great music and dancer. So here we are. I think is what somebody once said. I want to say Chappelle said that at one point. No, it was funny. She was at work, and somebody says, crypto, her ears perk up. She looks over, and the person says, yeah, my husband has all this money in crypto, but I don't even know how it works. I don't understand it. And she's like, she's like, I don't know how to access it. And she was like, do you know what a secret phrase is? And like, or a seed phrase? And the lady's like, yeah, that kind of sounds familiar. And my wife was like, look, and her husband, the woman's wonderful. Her husband are a great relationship. I think it's one of those situations where she's like, enjoy your crypto shit. But she's like, if anything ever happened to him. And so my wife basically was like, have him get you instructions, have him figure this stuff out, put it somewhere safe. And she's like, if anything ever happens to him, God forbid, I will help you access your crypto to do it for you. Like, not like with any motivation, just because it's a nice lady, it's your friend at work. But like, it's funny how like this self-custody thing, as a side note, like we think of it as like this awesome thing, but like, if you like, when it's gone, it's gone.
I don't know if I've ever shared this before. There's one of our friends in my will. Do you know who? One of our mutual friends is in my will. Not like they're getting stuff. I mean, maybe, but probably not.
I mean, if I was going to guess of the person you would most trust with your seed phrase, it's probably Bunch.
So it's not even, Bunch doesn't have my seed phrase, but he's named in my will as not like the executor, but he's part of the scavenger hunt on how to figure this shit out. Like, I've got detailed instructions in there, but someone who's not familiar with the space would probably need help. Like, if something happened to me tomorrow, my daughter would need help, right? And so it's call my best friend Nick, who was like a godfather to her, call Bunchu, and the two of them will you're taken care of. Like, it's two people that I trust with. They're not going to steal from my children, basically. And I don't even know if I've ever told Bunchy this, so hopefully he's good with that.
Yeah, I was going to say, may want to ask him. No, it's funny. Like, I have a short list. I think.
God, I hope I don't get by bus today.
Actually, it's funny. I think Bunchu and I don't know if you remember Everyday John from back in the day. I haven't talked to him in a hot minute, but I have his number and Bunchu's number. I think both on like secured away in a safe non-location of our house that kind of has instructions on how to access my stuff. I actually have I have that. Actually, I think my daughter would figure it out. She's 13. She's smart. She uses ChatGPT. Like, she's now at the point where she's like, I check with ChatGPT. I found this out.
I think mine could too. I just feel like that's something I don't want to put the anxiety and stress on. Like, it'd be a lot of fucking money for someone to like not know what they're doing with. And I should probably like take it. Last time I updated was like 21, I'm guessing, maybe 22.
Well, the tricky one is Coinbase, because Coinbase, you would have to have the dual account because there's no
I thought I had named beneficiaries in my Coinbase.
No such thing as a beneficiary on Coinbase. So
that's weird. They should do that. I definitely have beneficiaries in most of my other investment accounts.
Same. All of my other investment accounts, I have 100% beneficiary going to Dawn and then the kids. And so I don't understand.
It's really weird they don't have that.
Yeah. So it's like any money you have in Coinbase, it like made me second guess where I'm like, maybe I do want to self-custody. But I mean, it's crazy because it's like outside of another topic, maybe to go down, maybe we'll hit some rabbit holes this morning. I don't know if you've seen the latest on the quantum computing where they think it might have proved multiverse, but I have to give you down that one as well. But outside of quantum computing,
but is something new on it? I saw like or so.
I mean, I saw something like yesterday on it and was then fell down a ChatGPT rabbit hole. But unless quantum computing can help us figure out our seed phrases, I don't think it'll happen. Joey Val, saw you fly up here, GM.
Jim, guys, this conversation prompted me to come up. So
hopefully the life estate planning, not the Michael Jackson conversation.
Well, I mean, I have opinions on the Michael Jackson thing, but it's not important.
Let's stick with the estate planning.
And the whole Diddy thing and whatever. That's another day. That's probably like not Coffee with Captain show. That's probably like a different show.
I'm just gonna say Epstein did not kill himself, and that's probably the fact that this
conspiracies with Captain is a whole nother show.
It's not even a conspiracy. They said they had the list and now it's lost. Like, oh, just like you lost every evidence that we ever went to the moon.
You know what? You want to hear my crazy thing? You wanted me to go down like
the list.
Where my
AGs. Oh wait, I got the list right on my desk. Oh nope, there was no list. We lost it. What the hell? Stop lying to people. We're not idiots.
I think
you're losing all trust and credibility.
It was probably destroyed,
I'm not.
Here's the scary part though, real quick. Like on that, like before we go down that is like I'm not a conspiracy guy. I love conspiracy theories, but I don't love.
The thing is that you have to give them merit now. You have to at least consider it might be true because they're batting 1,000 over the last like 7 years. Like it's insane.
Well, like it's like one of those ones where it's like probably 95% of them aren't true, but like that 5% you hear and you're like, well, now I have to give them. Like you said, you have to give them merit when you start hearing the crazy stuff about like General Wesley Clark in 2003 being like, these are the 6 countries we're going to try to take down. And then like you look at it and over 20 years, it's like, I think it was 2005. It's like they've gone one by one and Iran was like the final boss or Iran. And here we are. It's crazy stuff. But the one thing I'll say real quick, and then we'll go back to Joey here is like on the conspiracy thing is now when something like that happens, I hate myself for this. I'm going to sound like Sugar Shane here. When I see like the Epstein list got destroyed or it doesn't exist or it probably it doesn't exist. I'm always sitting here. I'm like, what is actually happening that they're trying to distract us with the sleight of hand with? Like they're saying the list doesn't exist.
Take all this time, release a 10-hour video and not check that that 1 minute that we deleted. Like you're not going to edit it to this.
Like what are they distracting us from is like my thought, which is, I hate that I think this way now, but I'm like, is there some sort of like, it's the magician trick, right? Like when a magician makes something disappear, they're always like getting your attention in one area.
New Jersey drones, the plane crash, the train wreck in Ohio, like all those, that stuff was likely. Like the fact that we had these drones flying over New Jersey, they disappeared. We just move on. No one talked. Like what the hell?
Yeah. Like what happened when like, it's like we have these like crazy drones and then everyone's like, we don't know what they are. And Trump's like, yeah, we knew what they were. I don't know why they wouldn't tell you. Like, what was there sleight of hand? Was there something else going on? So anyway, that's always I hate that that's my first thought, but like now I've been trained because of like a couple of things to think that.
You should question everything. Like you don't have to believe every conspiracy, but you should question what.
We literally have believable deepfakes and you left a minute out of a video of Jeffrey Epstein being like, this proves it. Like that just gets the people going. Like they know what they're doing there. So, anyway, we should go down. Joey, get us back on track.
I'm not even gonna say it. There's a good deep fake that filled in that minute. They said found the missing minute of video. I'll just leave. That could be your rabbit hole. If you really want to go down there, I laughed out loud.
I would say this, Joey. Give me get us back on a far lighter topic like estate planning.
I would totally be in for a conspiracies with Cap show.
How about nightcap with Cap?
I love that shit. I believe I'm on the opposite spectrum as Steve, where I believe 95% are right and 5% are not. but that, again, another day. But anyways, back to the estate thing. So about like a couple months ago, I was like, I was just, I don't know. I had a day where I was like, God, what if something happened to me? Right? Like, I don't know why it just popped in my head. And like, I don't know about, in our relationship, I handle like all the finances, right? So I pay all the bills. I have them all on auto payment. Like I handle all that stuff. My wife takes care of the 3 kids. She does dishes. She does laundry. She cleans the house, right? Like she has her whole list of like what she is responsible for. So I am responsible for making sure all the bills are paid, right? In addition to that, all the investment accounts for the kids, like I have all this stuff set up. And I don't know why, but I was having this day where I was like, man, if something happened to me, like I don't know, like how, so like what she would do, like how would she figure all this stuff out, right? So I basically created, and my mom has a safe at her house, and we have a safe here. So I basically created like a list of like all the, all the credit cards, everything, the passwords, right? Like a whole document, right? I created all this stuff for like non-crypto. Then I created a whole crypto one where I was like, hey, there's MetaMask, there's Phantom, there's this, there's Coinbase, right? There's all these things, right? And I put passwords and right. And I said like, hey, if you need to get into this, the seed phrases are in this box in the safe and like all these things. And I created 2 of them. I created 2 copies, one copy of my mom, she put in her safe, and one that's in our safe. And thankfully my cousin, he's also in the space. Like he's building on, like, he's not an ETH guy. He's like on Monad and all this other stuff. And, but he's really crypto literate. So, and he's the godfather for my 3rd child. So like we have somebody in the family, that could help also. But then so I created all this to your guys' point, right? So God forbid something does happen. And then I remember at one point, now that we're talking about this, that OpenSea was creating like a on-chain estate for people. I don't know if they're still doing that or not. Like I remember when I met them back in like 2022, they had just started like building, and the plan was essentially like to your point, Cap, about like why doesn't Coinbase have beneficiaries? I'm pretty sure that's what OpenSea was building, where you can put like your NFTs, everything, right? OpenSea, and you would then designate beneficiaries and whatever, and it was an easy way for, if God forbid something did happen to you, all of your stuff would be in like this one central place that could then be passed on to your child, your spouse, etc. I don't know if they are or not. I haven't talked to him in a long time. We used to talk all the time, but might be somebody. And I think I just saw Drew give me a thumbs up in the audience. So maybe they are still doing that or still have that product. But we're always talk about like safety and security here. Might be worth like reaching out to the OpenSea guys and being like, hey, the other day we were talking about estate planning and beneficiaries. Are you guys still building that? Do you have that? And maybe have them come on, or maybe some kind of partnership deal,
Yeah, I'm not sure if they are still. I know Wes is at ENS now, who I met from OpenSea, met him on the plane back from VCon.
Oh, that's what it was, Wes. That's
yeah,
who it was.
Yeah, my guy Wes.
Couldn't think of the name.
Yeah, met him on a plane, actually. He saw my Bored Ape Yacht Club hoodie. We chatted in the airport and then ended up coming on the show, talked OpenSea. Pretty cool. Not sure if the product is still kicking. I was going to say 2 things that actually the chat and I are aligned today. Von Frunten and I are remarkably similar in our mindset, where we said nightcap at cap. Like I was actually going to say it would happen at 3 p.m. Von Frunten went with 4:30 p.m. Dwayne had that same time. So apparently I was early. We're so early. Joey, do not tell people in the future where you're storing things, even if they are in a safe on a public space. So the Crypto Pain comes in with that one. So, switch those up a little bit.
They're all getting moved now. Sorry. Now they're all getting moved. So they're not there anymore.
Joey's like, I told my wife my seed phrase, which is banana. But yeah, joking aside, no, I agree. I think like stuff like that's important and going to continue to be important. I think it's also why self-custody. But here's the thing, like, Ledger's doing this. Ledger has a recovery card that you can get. So for example, like if you don't have your seed phrase and you lose your seed phrase, they have that new recovery card, which you can tap, work with your ledger, which can help you get your seed phrase back. So they're coming up with these things because I think people are realizing, I said this years ago, like the same way, I'm not going to go down this route and start this again, but the same way people don't want meme coins, people don't want self-custody most. I'm not saying that they shouldn't or whatever. We could say we're going to go to the years of Fallout and post-apocalyptic and it's important to have, but like most people don't want that. So I think that's one important thing.
Is Zane the best chatter? He keeps continually winning chat. I just had to. When I had coffee in my mouth, I would have spit it out. He says, "Me, time for a totally normal, chill show to start my morning." Cap, let's talk about Michael Jackson.
Yeah, Zane's one of the funniest people I know. Honestly, like one of my faves.
We went from Tommy Lee to Michael Jackson.
The crazy part about Zane, actually, to me, is that I've been following Gary Vee since Wine Library TV for years, and I remember seeing a video of a guy who Gary had a question in the crowd, and he was doing his crowd question thing, and the guy asked him about like, "Hey, I want to work for you," and he said, "Can you come to New York right now?" He said, "Yeah." He went up the stage. I was like, "Oh, it's an awesome thing." It was fucking Zane. Like I had no idea it was Zane. I watched this happen in like whatever year it was, like 2016 or 2018 or whatever year it was. I don't even remember when it was, but like I watched it, and I remember Zane. It was like maybe like the first time that share some lore about yourself was going around, and I think that share lore about yourself was going around, and Zane said it, and I was like. He was like, "Yeah, this was me." And I was like, "Bro, that was you. I saw that video. Like, I remember watching that." So pretty crazy to see. Solomon, welcome to the YouTube chat. Good to see you out there as well. I did want to hit our quick cold open topic and get your opinion on this though, Cap, because, and I'm curious people in the again, like, retweet, comment in the room. We'll talk a little bit of perps going everywhere in a minute. OpenSea acquiring Rally and some other things, but not the craziest morning at the moment. Cap and I were talking sauna. So Cap's wearing his Carolina Blues. He's been wearing for a while. I commented on his hat, and he's like, "Yeah, go and dry fit hat because I just ripped through hats in the sauna." When I was doing sauna, which I haven't been in anymore, I do 20 minutes in the sauna, no music, no headphones, just me sitting there. I
love my time in the sauna. That sounds like absolute hell to me.
I think it is one of the most valuable things to train and try. Because I am
real work. Like that would be hard for me to do it. Like I've attempted to do it. I think this started because the other day I was talking about bought new AirPods. Some other ones just finally shot. I gave up. By the way, have I been missing out? I didn't realize. I mean, first of all, my other ones were like 5 years old. So like they'd work. Like one would start going crackly half the time. People couldn't hear me. Like they'd become shit. But the new ones it was like, wow, this is what music actually sounds like. Anyways, I was in the sauna for a day without music, and I had to cut it short. Like I couldn't. I even had my phone with me, and it was just like there was nothing. It was really difficult for me with my phone. I couldn't imagine spending 20 minutes in just pure silence. I know I should. I know it's good for me. I'm all about life hacks and self-improvement and bettering myself. It's really difficult for me to meditate. It's really difficult for me to shut off my brain, and I don't like doing it. Like
that but that's all the more reason. Look, we'll get Web3. This is the longest cold open we've done in a hot.
Did you see Chris up there? Did we get a special guest here today? Is it coming up at 9?
I don't know actually. So I asked him if you want to jump up at 9. So maybe we'll sneak Chris up here to talk a little bit of OpenSea and Rally potentially. If you're Chris, request up if you want to come in. No pressure. You don't need to run out of the room because we're calling your name. Like you can hang out if you want to hang out.
But if you do run out, big congrats. We were talking about you yesterday. Love to see it. We love to see the continually building and pivoting, and it's a Web3 success story we should all be celebrating. So big congrats.
But TLDR and the sauna thing, I would say like Von Frunten is a it's funny you say morning sessions only. I know people who do sauna. I think Peter Attia flosses before the sauna goes in and then takes a shower and goes to bed. But anyway, long story short, saunas. Sauna or even just general meditation. Good practice. Curious if people out there do it or if I'm crazy. It sounds like Von Frunten also raw dogs the sauna and just goes in, no music, no anything. I'm totally comfortable. It's the best place to cycle through my thoughts. Luke in the same thing. So let us know. Just screens off still. Like, I mean, even when I drive sometimes, I'll just turn on meditation music.
There's 2 polls that I'm seriously considering posting. One, have you seen the Tommy Lee, Pamela Anderson video? The other poll, which is probably more appropriate, do you take your phone in the sauna with you or not?
Yeah.
Probably
So we'll get that out. We're getting Chris up here. So we're going to do, Joey, we're going to go like 30 seconds or less here because we got Chris coming up and we were going to talk about some OpenSea rally, and we got an impromptu awesome guest coming on to join here. So Joey, go ahead and get in here 30 seconds or less on your sauna stuff, and then we're going to pivot into actual Web3.
Yeah, I'm a psychopath. I nap in the sauna.
I don't know if that's safe.
Well, I mean, I set an alarm, right? Like I make sure I set an alarm, but like I have this really weird ability to just fall asleep anywhere, anytime I want. So I literally will just lay my head back in the sauna and close my eyes. And then 20 minutes later, the alarm goes off and I get out of the sauna.
Yeah. I mean, that's a whole nother level. I mean, look, you guys think I'm crazy. That's crazy to me. But I also like the time to cycle through my thoughts because I have what I think is it Tim Ferriss refers to it as monkey brain? Like that's what I have. Like I'm constantly thinking of something else and whatever, and it helps me sort of cycle through my thoughts and reset. So I like that. But that said, like really excited. Impromptu Chris jumping on the show, and I don't know if people aren't familiar with what happened yesterday. So Chris Maddern, new CTO of OpenSea, big time acquisition. So the Floor app, which turned into the Rally app, which people big fan of. Wallet tracking has a whole bunch of things on it. OpenSea, we've been talking about OpenSea sort of starting to pivot into tokens and thinking about what they were going to do and being like, hey, maybe they're going to be this sort of like everything app, and that's what they're trying to do. Match made in heaven allows OpenSea to potentially go mobile. Chris, GM, first of all, congrats, and second of all, just curious. How long have you been working on this and keeping this thing under the rug? Because we were surprised when we saw the announcement yesterday, but huge opportunity. So congrats, and curious how long this has been being discussed for.
GM, thanks for having me up. Yesterday was a really exciting day. The response from the community was just overwhelmingly positive and honestly extremely humbling. M&A is fun. It definitely always takes longer than you think and hope it will. But honestly, a lot of that's just mechanical. I think when Christine and Devin and I sat down a few months ago, it just became so obvious that we saw the same things, we wanted to build the same things, and that doing it together could speed us up and allow us to realize this vision of an everything app that could truly put NFTs and tokens together in one place, combining communities, continuing the work that we've done at Rally and building openly with a community, but moving that onto the stage of OpenSea would just be an accelerant for everything. And I really hope we can make it an accelerant for the space as well.
So your thought process here is, match made in heaven makes a lot of sense, right? You're kind of getting that together. You're trying to boost everything app. And, in the announcement, I know Cap on the screen is highlighting making DeFi and perps simple and accessible, embracing AI to make crypto safer and more understandable. So you kind of hit on the accessible part, which I think goes without saying. OpenSea is well capitalized, one of the biggest names in this, probably the biggest name in the space, as big as they come. Getting it in the hands of a lot of people makes sense. They're well capitalized to do so. Embracing AI to make crypto safer and more understandable. Can you extrapolate on that part?
Yeah, I'm getting used to my at a slightly bigger company talking about things without talking about things role. It's like we live in this incredible time, right? Like the things that AI can do today, we fundamentally just couldn't have imagined 2 years ago. It would have seemed like science fiction. So it seems absurd that companies should work the way that we thought they should work 2 years ago without, learning from that and changing. And it seems absurd that, the way that we participate in, what is going to become the most important, financial and cultural set of assets, the idea that that shouldn't change really materially as well. In particular, one of the biggest challenges for crypto over the last couple of years in gaining adoption has been trust, safety, and allowing new people to participate without, candidly just getting wrecked. And so that is one of the problems. There are many that we're really excited to apply AI to. And, first and foremost, OpenSea is a crypto company and, historically an NFT company. But internally, we're also very much an AI company. And there's a lot of people who are really excited about AI, who are building with AI, and importantly, thinking about how AI can be layered onto our industry that we're really passionate about to make it better, to make it safer, to make fun new things that solve some of the problems that we see that's holding us back from the adoption that we think crypto should have.
Yeah, no, that tracks. Oh, go ahead, Cap. Go
I
ahead.
was just saying, like, the acquisition's exciting, mobile's exciting. Like, it just makes sense, everything that was just said. We said it yesterday. One of the things that, like, not only does the mobile component really make sense, the acqui-hire, right? Like, we had a couple people mention, like, bringing that team of talent onto the OpenSea team. We've seen a marked shift since Hollander joined the team, and more crypto natives, Web3 degens that not just been in the trenches, but actually been in the weeds building relentlessly for years. And like, I just want to share something I caught this morning, I think is when I saw it. This is, I can't, like, maybe most just like see it as, oh, it's just some feedback. It's just a response. Like this, what I'm about to show you, I think like this is worth the acquisition, whatever they paid, just by itself. This real-time interacting with the users of this space, in this case, I think we could all agree, a power user in Cosmo, a very high value user. He says, hey, did OpenSea do away with auctions? Almost instantly, Chris replies, hey, my first day, we make some moves. We basically cut some features as we went to the OS2, and then we're going to build it back up from the ground up, what the community wants. I'd love to get some advice on what you think is most impactful to help prioritize a roadmap if you're game. Responds with some great advice. Like, I'm not saying that they're going to take and implement all this, but like, this is how you build in public. I'm not trying to oversimplify things, but this is what the active users here want to see. I know we're always going to talk about, we got to onboard the next billion users on chain, and we want them to be user-friendly products, and they're all on mobile. All that makes sense. But let's not forget those of us who are here and have been here for the last several years, and this feedback's valuable. So I just want to, again, congratulations on the acquisition, but I just want to quickly say, give you some props for being in the trenches, being in the weeds, and not just giving an answer, but asking for feedback and then getting good feedback. Like, I know this probably sounds ridiculously simple, Steve, but I saw that and it just like made me feel all warm and fuzzy.
Thank you, man. The truth is, I think the culture of OpenSea has been shifting a lot. And like you called out Adam Hollander, I think has been doing a phenomenal job of that. And actually, even straight from Devin, the OS2 team has been working in an orientation where every single thing that's raised in the Discord as an issue actually becomes a ticket that makes it to an engineer for triage. Like, the team is culturally listening really, really closely. And that doesn't mean you can always do everything. It doesn't mean you always get everything right. But very much over the last 6 to 9 months, I think the culture at OpenSea has already been shifting. And then, like, this is just something I'm really excited about. Like, we build for an audience who hangs out with us on Twitter every day. That's a hack. Like, it's such a hack to be able to chat to them and just learn and build better stuff. I should probably jump down and let you get back to regularly scheduled programming, but I'm a big fan of the show. And so when I saw you were talking about it, I thought I'd pop up and say hi.
No, appreciate that. And feel free. And thanks for jumping on. And we'll definitely have you on for a more sort of like long formal discussion, but I'm sure you have a lot to get to. Congratulations. We're a fan of the acquisition. On a personal note, appreciate you. I know when I got, when Starbucks Odyssey sunset and I was very lost and not knowing where to go, you're one of the people who reached out and hopped on the phone with me to have a conversation. And it was very kind. And I think very pragmatic and practical, where I can be very extreme, like everything's over, everything's great. And you're sort of like, everything is on a spectrum, and kind of gave me a lot of perspective on that. So thanks for jumping up. Congratulations. And we're looking forward to using OpenSea Mobile, man.
Yeah. Congrats again. And we on the corporate stuff, we actually joked yesterday, like, maybe he won't be able to join us because there's corporate gag orders, but really do appreciate you jumping up and sharing this morning.
Yeah. Good combo. Cap, I was going to say, like, related to this, I mean, we could talk a little bit about this and the introduction of sort of perps in general. I think there's a couple things here. So I think there is this particular acquisition that I thought was interesting, right? OpenSea going mobile. I kind of mentioned, like, this is the paradigm shift that we need to have. I was once on, I think it was like Bloomberg, like when I was doing the book tour, and they're like, what makes NFTs and crypto reach the masses? And my answer is, it needs to be on a 6-inch screen in front of you with everything possible, because that is where people interact. That is how half the world gets online. So that part makes sense to me, right? So I appreciate that that aspect of it. Phantom also, I mean, it's interesting because I think it almost changed the competitive landscape. I maybe thought of Magic Eden and OpenSea as competitors before. Now it's maybe Coinbase, Phantom. Like, you're starting to see a different competitor set, because I think everyone's on this race to the everything app that brings crypto into your hands.
Yes and no. Yes, I do agree that like removing any friction, making it easy to transact regardless what chain it's on, regardless if it's an NFT or a token, if it, so yes, I also think like on the, in line with the news of perps announcements, Radium announced they're turning on perps with Hyperliquid. So I think in addition to,
I think it was Phantom, right? Wasn't that Phantom? That's what I was saying. Yeah.
Phantom. We're going to see we are going to see some of these everything apps, and they'll probably all build it in-house. I think we're also going to see potentially more collaborations like this, right? To where it's not one company, rather in the case of like Phantom and Hyperliquid, they're tapping into what Hyperliquid does best in the liquidity that's there, and basically removing that friction for all those Phantom users that are on Solana and haven't taken the time to bridge over to Hyperliquid. Like, I think that more deep integrations, more not just a collaboration for a drop, but really deep partner integrations. I think this is like, I don't know, but my
this is the consolidation we talked about like 3 years ago, right? You and me.
This is how the OpenSeas, the Phantoms, the Hyperliquids compete with the Coinbases, the Robinhoods, the big publicly traded giants that have not just access to billions, but also have a competitive advantage when it comes to their embedded user bases. I think this is how the crypto natives compete, because maybe I don't know. Maybe they anticipated it. I didn't anticipate how quickly TradFi would seemingly get into our world, right? It's like the recent Robinhood announcements was kind of like a light bulb moment for me. Like, oh shit, like they really could start like becoming major, serious competitive threats. A lot of the crypto native DeFi dApps that have been built over the last 3, 4, 5 years, Robinhood could come out and boom, here we got ours. We're ready to go. And those users that we thought would come from Robinhood into our decentralized world, now they don't need to leave Robinhood. So I think like these deep integrations, these deep partnerships may vary, and or acqui-hires, right? Like, instead of OpenSea having to build out their own mobile app, this makes a lot more sense for them to keep that competitive edge. I think like it's like I'm not saying there's one right or wrong way, but as competition heats up, I think we could very well see more of this consolidation, more mergers and acquisitions, and or really deep integrations and partnerships amongst the crypto natives. I'm not saying like they put up a wall and like, oh, we're not going to do anything with Coinbase or Robinhood. We're only going to keep it in our world, but maybe so. Maybe some of them just like really double down on the crypto natives, and that's kind of their, not a moat per se, but that's keeps their competitive edge, or keeps them in the game with some of the giants.
Yeah, I think it's interesting in that we kind of hit on this, but like kind of like extrapolating it out even a little more. It's like, yeah, man, it's sort of the idea of like building. We always talked about building like a bank in a shopping mall type thing, like it's with these, or like bank, a casino, and everything in a shopping mall. It's like all together in once. Because I mean, they're adding perps, and I'm sure people know, but just to like make sure we're all level set on the same page, because I'm always like, hey, let's make sure people understand. A perp is just basically the ability to go long and short. So if you're not familiar, you basically go a long position, like trading with leverage, which I never do. It's like, to give a 5x example, if you want to do like a $5,000 position on Ethereum, you do 5x leverage. You put up $1,000 of your own money. The platform theoretically lends you the $4,000, and if it goes up 10%, you'll gain your $500. If it goes down 10%, you get liquidated your $1,000. So the idea is like it's this disproportionate bet, but you have a strong belief, and you can actually make more money by basically saying like you're 10%. So the 10% you got is against the $5,000, not your $1,000. So it's like you're basically passing $1,000 Your 10% gets you a 50% return, which is crazy. But if it goes down 10%, you're liquidated. And like they exist on these. So they're putting these in all the different apps so that people can trade with leverage because people like to do so. It's not my jam, but it's also a opportunity for a product that people want. It has product market fit in the stock market. It has product market fit in crypto. So it's something that's important. And all these apps are putting them in. So it's like Phantom, OpenSea. Again, Coinbase is starting to play around in these world wars. They're trying to get more people on them. So to your point, Cap, I think it's like the idea, it's the Vegas casino. You never want someone to leave.
Also, I got a correction and no obligations. I know it's morning, not to put you on the spot. Phonics, if you want to jump up and join the combo, more than welcome. I'd love to get your insight. He did correct me. It's not a collaboration. Rather, Phantom is using Hyperliquid builder codes, which are available to everyone. Anyone can incorporate Hyperliquid into their platform.
But this is like the idea. Well, but it's even in the past. It would be like Phantom might be like, we're going to do our own thing. Or it's just the collaboration / usage / crossover / acquisitions. Like 2 or 3 years ago, we talked about how mergers and acquisitions should happen in this space. Nobody was doing it. Maybe wasn't ready for it. Maybe people were looking at their upside. Maybe people got greedy. I don't know. But now we're looking at it like these companies are doing this because we're going to see more and more of this where the best in the space who have built good stuff could say that's a logical bolt-on. If we want this thing to go mainstream and more people to use it, if we want to onboard the next million, billion, whatever users, which OpenSea should be doing, they have a giant lead as initially an NFT marketplace. They're integrating tokens. It's still the best gallery view. I mean, everybody who goes to look at NFTs uses OpenSea for it. It's a good platform and a good product. I like Magic Eden. I personally use OpenSea more than Magic Eden, not just because I'm farming rewards, but also because it's just, it's familiar. It's what I was using. Our buddy Bunch actually almost came up with OpenSea before OpenSea. He wanted to do an art marketplace before OpenSea came out. So he almost beat Devin to the punch, didn't come out with that one. But yeah, man, it's a opportunity to get more people on using these products. And I think we're going to see more acquisitions of this sort. I think we're going to see more acqui-hires of this sort because, it's interesting. I made this comment. When I went to NFT NYC, I ended up leaving a day early for some personal stuff. Nothing too bad, but had to jump out Thursday instead of Friday. Missed the Now party, missed good vibes, but was glad I got to see those guys. And I made this comment to Cap afterwards, which I'm now realizing is more sort of forward-looking than I realized, which is I'm starting to see a lot of the same people at a lot of these events, where previously you might go hang out with the Pudgy at a Pudgy event. You might go hang out with the Doodles at the Doodle event. You might go hang out with the Bored Apes at the Ape event. I went to Adam Fern's pizza party. It was a lot of the same people I saw at the Sakazuki event or Santori event, I should say, that the Ape Chain Stream one. It was a lot of the same people that I saw at the Abstract event, which is like a little bigger there. So because it was OpenSea plus Abstract. And it had this realization, man. It's like, we're in this space where like we're not in a bear market. Like normally you go in a bear market on a trip and you're like, oh, okay, like these are the builders, these are the people. I think we've kind of like whittled the space down to the people who are traveling to these events and attending them are working for a company, doing deals, talking about hires. Like it's not just and in a sad way, it's like kind of sad because NFT events used to be like Comic-Con where all of us nerds would come out and we'd have our NFTs on our clothes and stuff like that. Less and less people are just showing up to show up. More and more people are showing up because they have a real business reason to show up, like we're real industry conferences. And it makes sense that these are where these conversations are going to start. I mean, I had a couple of calls in the past week since NFT NYC related to potential like work opportunity type stuff because of people I ran into at NFT NYC. And so I just think that these are becoming more and more, as we become more and more of the builders are showing up and less of the financialized space, it sort of makes sense that the space is shrinking and more people are consolidating. So I think we're seeing more of that as it happens. So I don't know. I don't know if that's good or bad. Having people sort of, I don't know if it's like, I miss the days when there was a gazillion people showing up to an event, which there still are with some of the abstract stuff and some of the other things, but like it's
I'm not going to keep harping on. I just think I think a lot of that effect is in NFT NYC. I hated the conference. I'm not a fan of New York. I know a lot of other people like me just blew it off this year because I didn't want to go support another conference that I think is a grifting conference, and it's not the best place.
But it wasn't. I didn't go to the conference. It was the side events. It was like
I know,
event.
but same thing. Like it's just it got to a point where NFT NYC is not it. Like it's just not a good event for people to want to gather around because it's still like even if you're not going to the conference, people used to go there because NFT. It's lost its luster. It's a horrible conference, and it doesn't make sense to when there's so many other options to get together at those side events. Like it was an easy decision for me this year to not do the New York trip because there's just a lot of others I'd rather do. Whether forget Ape Fest by its own, but like I'm much more excited to do Art Basel than I was NFT NYC, and I think I'm guessing, maybe I'm wrong, but I think you'll see a far different turnout for Art Basel than you saw in New York.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Well, I think Art Basel has the appeal. By the way, Dort with the pushback. Actually, I know it's war room stuff, but I think he's right. He says, I actually don't really agree. The Good Vibes Party was full of collectors. I think it's about who you're talking to more in 2025 than who you were in 2021. I think it's scaled down proportionally. I think it's probably a good point because to Dort's point, which is actually correct, I went there with more stated purpose of people I was talking to and stuff for Coffee with Captain, stuff for potential work. So I was probably going to the stuff where I prioritize that more. And so I did miss the Good Vibes Party because I jumped out early for the family stuff. I did miss the Now Party, which might have had more people. So there might have been more collectors, but I think Basel has the appeal of it's Miami in December, which is always going to be an appeal because it's just like, hey, like majority of people are coming from a location that's not super warm, or if you're in a super warm location like Florida, it's a drive. So I think Basel does do well. I'll be curious to see what Basel does. But NFT NYC, it might be the conference, but it's also like Bored Ape decoupled. They used to throw the banger there, right? Like that was part of 2 years in a row. Ape Fest was the banger there. Everybody would throw an event at NFT and we see everybody would show up. I don't think it's just the conference, but you might be right. It might be something to do with the fact that people don't want to spend $1,000 on Ubers going place to place. But yeah, like I don't know. Like I guess my feeling is that it felt more scaled down than previous years where the people, more and more people, like I'll give an example. Like the Abstract OpenSea party is a great example. Went to Abstract OpenSea. There were people there who were just hanging, but pretty much everyone I talked to are like a large proportion, a much, much larger proportion of those people work in the space or have a vested interest in the space versus people who would just fly in to get utility from their tokens. Like I didn't get that number.
Sorry to interject. Go ahead. Finish your thought. I think it's actually a kind of a hot take, and I think there's some merit to it from Big Cuz in the chat.
But yeah, I'll say this, and the last thing I'll say in it is like the Good Vibes Club was probably the exception. I think it's a new community that's really excited. I think they'll continue to do that. They got the vibes going, so nothing crazy about that. But yeah, I think like that was my notice in NFT NYC, and more I was relating it to the fact that like I think we see more of these deals get done because I think at the very least, let me put it this way. There's more events that are a little bit more driven towards the builders who are actually like kind of working the space. And there's nothing wrong if you're not working the space, by the way. I'm just saying there's more events driven towards those people. And I think as a result, you're seeing more of those conversations and you're seeing more people built in. Von Frenten says, I think IRL events as utility is becoming a lot less and less desirable for a lot. Right. Because when people aren't printing 6 figures on airdrops or 5 figures on airdrops regularly, I don't think they're flying like 5 times a year to go to these events. But Cap, give me the hot take from the chat.
Well, partially right, maybe. I think there could be some merit to this. I'm curious your thoughts. Because says it's because certain aren't token gated events aren't token gated anymore to holders only. We took the exclusivity out of NFTs, which is to me what made them attractive. Exclusivity versus mass appeal. I agree. I do agree. I don't mean to sound pretentious or like some arrogant asshole. Part of the benefit of going to these events is you knew you were going to be like the people there, the people we're going to be engaging with. You knew that you had not just something in common. You knew that you were vested, and it led to different conversations. It led to different connections. Whereas you made some comments, and it's just like now there's a much wider range. And it's, I think, pretty much across the board. Like, I don't know. I can't tell you when the last in real life event that was token gated was, where you had to hold the NFT to go there. It's diminished the value, diluted the value of the NFTs a little bit because that was still real utility. I get why they've done it. They want to grow their community. They want more people there. But it took away some of the appeal. The exclusivity matters, right? Like that when you go from this is a extremely powerful networking group to, oh yes, some of those people are still here, but now anyone on the street can come in. It's just likely half your conversations aren't going to be not every conversation is going to be as maybe as compelling as it was previously. Is this is my first time having this actual thought about these in real life events, but I saw it like, might be something here.
I don't know if this unpacks what I'm thinking for that reasoning. But I think it's an interesting point that is true. So the first time this really came into full force was NFT NYC 2022, maybe 2021. 2021, mutants got the same access as apes, and there were some apes who were like, what the hell, man? Like for, whatever, a small percentage of the price, apes are like 30 ETH, mutants are like 3 ETH, and people are getting into all the ape events for the same lower price. We're like, if it's dual utility, what happens here? I think you're right. Like, I think there is probably something to the lack of it, because you're right. Actually, here's a great example. Was it 2021? I think it was 2021, maybe 2022. But Gutter Cats had an event with Royal Society of Players. One card got you in, one clone got you in. And I remember, he's not even in the space anymore to my knowledge, but King Blackboard, at the event, looking around, he's from New York City, and he's like, so I got into this event with my 27 Gutter Cats, which are worth hundreds of thousands of dollars at that time, probably. And he's like, or whatever he had. He's like, but someone with a $70 clone gets the same utility as me. Like, how does that work? And that was even within the same collection. Now, to your point, people just get approved by Luma and they go to an event because these chains need to expand and everybody's going blockchain. That's how they're making their money. I get it.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, but I do miss the exclusivity of, I talked to someone yesterday who's actually trying to build that a little bit, and try to rebuild like that.
More I think
Soho House 5.
I think this is part of what led to a little bit of that. Like Von Front says, I think in real life events as utilities becoming less and less desirable for a lot. I think part of this is this is coming to me in real time. I really haven't went down this path. I haven't had this thought, but so I may say something that sounds really bad. Please don't take this out of context. Yeah. Across almost every collection, some they just open their doors to everyone. Others they've went the chain route, which yes, they need users. It's not that they continue to launch secondary and third NFT collections and fourth NFT collections and fifth, and it's the whole idea of the exclusive club is kind of not anymore for most of them. There's not even one particular one. They've all just kind of went, we just want everyone here. We want everyone to join us. We're building the consumer apps. We want to build consumer crypto.
Except
Okay.
Except Apefest.
That's the last one, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I know, I'm certain there's other parties. Even Beeple's punk event, you don't even have to have a punk to go. It's like,
yeah, it's like outside of, to your point of like Apefest, it's like, because even like,
it's like imagine you got a club, a country club membership. You paid your $100,000 due, and you're paying your $25,000 a year. You're spending $2,000 a month in food and in beverage, and you can stay a member. They don't kick you out, but they decided, we're going to make it a public course now. Anyone can come play. You don't have to pay we're not refunding any of our initiation fees. We're not running any dues. You still have to spend the $2,000 a month to at the clubhouse for food and beverage. But if someone wants to come play around for $85 with a cart, they can.
That's a thing that actually that exists, but they do have good exclusive benefits for members that make it worth it, right? Like, because I mean, this is the challenge of a decentralized club, I think, to some degree. Because we talk about, so there is a private public club not too far from me that my buddy belongs to. During COVID, I would walk 9 holes with him like every day after work, because like we could just go there. And I could go there because it was public. He belonged as a member, but he got all sorts of exclusive benefits with like the range and like with like the grill and like, rounds and things like that. I still had other things. So the model works. The problem is with a decentralized club where there's only so many events, to your point. I mean, it's crazy that we're here considering there was an uproar about, remember when 2022, when Bored Ape, you're good. 2022 when
dude's eating a fucking bug. There was like a little like ant or bug trap killer thing. And I look over, he's chewing on the thing. It's like, this is why you get sick, man. This is why you have stomach issues. You can't eat plastic shit. You can't eat bug medicine.
Dogs are the best. My dog, speaking of bugs.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
I love when dogs put their arm on you like that too. When it's just it's the most adorable thing. My one dog does that all the time. Where like actually my one dog was kind of territorial over me at one point. Doesn't like it when Dawn and I hug. It's like a common thing for like dogs when they like a male and a female hug, they'll like jump on you for whatever reason. And like Dawn and I were like hugging and he kind of like made a little noise and then he looked at Dawn and just puts his paw on me like he was marking his territory. But no, man, I think that there's something to it. I think that there's a like in 2022 when Bored Ape Yacht Club did a +1 for their event at the pier, people had an uproar because they only got like one night per wallet if you had, and so then they had people spreading their apes and mutants and like they only had certain capacity and they had the +1 so people could bring people. And there was this big debate over like, yeah, I want to bring a +1 because I want to, I want to make sure that my +1, like, I'm traveling by myself. Like all those make sense. But yeah, man, there is a total lack of exclusivity in these clubs, which were meant to be exclusive. And it's not hard to get place to place. Regardless of like, it's not like even in 2022, 2023, like you had to like sort of like someone like Farouk, whether he holds stuff or not, could get into places, right? Or you or me would have an ability to probably get to places that we maybe otherwise wouldn't. Now it's like anybody can, which I think was cool for us, but wasn't necessary. Now I think anybody could walk up and be like, yeah, I want to get in, like register for OpenSea plus abstract, show up, you're in. And it's great because there's more people at the party. I agree with that. And I don't think it's pretentious. I think what you're saying, though, and I understand, is like when they were running events at Jay-Z's club, remember back in, again, 2021, 2022, when we were running events they were running events at that club Jay-Z ran, like whatever, it was 40 or whatever. It's like you felt like really like I am not important. I have never been important, but I felt important walking in that door and walking to that back room and sitting around in that area, having drinks. And like, now it's just kind of like, yeah, it's just a big open party, which is great. I like that. But it's like, in that sense, it's not terribly different.
I don't know.
Especially if it's live.
Actually, I'll check. I don't think it's great. The more I think about this, I don't think that's great because follows up is I've always thought adoption through exclusivity versus mass appeal is a better approach and holders should be viewed differently than users. What I learned so far in this space that nobody wants what anyone can have. That's when we hit peak NFTs. The amount of people outside AFES 2022 begging to get in was a perfect example of that. And I agree. I don't think, I mean, yes, I understand you have to grow, but I think far as in real life events are concerned, I think it's a net negative to open it up to everyone.
Right, like the Soho House isn't like, hey, who wants to show up? Everybody, right? Like you pay for a membership, you pay to get, to spend more money there. You use a country club example in the private. What I was going to say about the country club example, in the private public examples, you're local, you get those opportunities. If you're a decentralized club, you only have so many decentralized and IRL events to work from. How do you make it so someone holding that token feels exclusive? Like you said, ApeFest is one of them. They throw good events. It's for the club. That's still a strong club and a strong membership. The counterpoint is, to your point, like I was at the Ape Chain event. I met someone I had a call with yesterday who's, building something kind of interesting. I may do some work with them. And I talked to them and like, I would not have run into them if that event wasn't more open. So like, there are opportunities that exist and better networking that exists because of it. Yeah, man, I struggle a little bit with it. It's a great point by Big Cuz, like great point that I just hadn't really considered that has driven down because it does drive the like anybody can have this. So what's the point? Like in fact, Joey Vowles gave us this call. Remember Joey Vowles when we talked about like fucking Saturday or whatever? Joey's like, I can find a way to get in without owning a mutant or an ape. Like many people have said that to me where they're like, oh, well, they're running an event. I don't need a mutant or an ape. Somebody will put me in as their +1 and it's small enough space to do so. I'm not saying that's a bad thing for me wanting to bring my friends to an event. I understand why people do it, or like, especially like if you're a female traveling alone and you want to bring someone, like all those things add. add up, but it does dilute. So it's an interesting thought that I haven't and this, like Von Frunten, this is what I've been trying to say. I'm still waiting for the private public model of event model. Anyone get in general area holders. This is what I suggested for Bored Ape Yacht Club years ago, which is if you want
I really
to,
thought following Ape Fest 22, I thought that I was certain that's where they were heading.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be in real life clubhouse, Ape Fest like Ape Fest 2 every year, and it'd be a profit center for them, just with apes and mutants getting special perks, discounted tickets or free entry, free VIP, et cetera, et cetera. Like, I guess Rolling Loud has done that. I was gonna say, why hasn't someone done that yet? And Rolling Loud has. It's just
right. Like if you like, they had all these connections in the music industry. They had Guy Osiri at their disposal. Like it just felt like they on Ape Fest, they had so many sponsors that they seemed to do just fine on that. It was like if they ran an Ape, and again, it's easier said than done. I'm not running these events, but like at the time, what it felt like we were certain they were going to do for people who don't know is like, if people miss the 2021-2022 Bored Ape Yacht Club craze, the first Ape Fest had Chris Rock, Aziz Ansari, Questlove on the ones and twos playing the music. Then it was like Beck,
Lil Baby,
and The Strokes and that was one. The second one,
which by the way, I think it's worth noting, Ape Fest 1, what he just described, incredible yacht party. That was a warehouse party where all those acts were at. That took place in October, end of October, early November of 2021. They minted in April, May of that year. So May, June, July, August, September, October, November, like basically 6 months. In 6 months from mint, they did mutants, they did dogs, and then they pulled off the absolute, like, it was I've attended a lot of events. That was the first, like, it was a mind-blowing experience for me to see them pull that off the entire week in 6 months. That's when the whole Never Fade Yuga, and it was deserved. Like, they shipped relentlessly. And that first Ape Fest, and then followed up, the second was even more of a banger. It was just like,
yeah. It was actually Ape Fest 1 was, it was and it wasn't. So
started community inspired, but definitely Yuga played a role.
Yeah, Yuga ran it, but like it was community inspired. Josh Ong actually, I would be flexing hard if I was Josh Ong. Like, motherfucker came up with Ape Fest. He was like, you should throw.
We both submitted similar decks. Josh went the Ape Fest party route, which obviously was well received. I submitted a similar deck for an in real life event, except mine was like a stuffy conference like ApeCon, and thankfully they went the party route instead of the.
Josh was like, you should throw a yacht party because you have Bored Ape Yacht Club, and they were like, well, we just had the mutant sale. I suppose that makes sense, and then they did, and then they threw Ape Fest, and yeah, it was like you walked in, and once you got in, no lines at the bathroom, no lines at the drinks, really, like, you know, great art acts performing. All of those were a surprise, by the way. Nobody knew they were performing, and then in Ape Fest 2, it was, you know, LCD sound system, it was Future, it was Eminem, it was Lil Wayne, it was Snoop Dogg, all performing at this big, big open air events where I met Von Frunten. And it was like those things, again, first time I met Outer Lumen in person, like that was like such a crazy thing. And we thought to ourselves, if they run this and make this bigger and have a VIP section for apes, a slightly lower like perk set for mutants, and then everybody else, people would pay to get into this event. And it just didn't happen, and it didn't make sense for them. And it's easy for me to say because I'm sure running a music festival is a pain, or else everyone would do it. It was such an easy thing to do. Everyone would do it. But like, that's the direction we thought it was going, and we were super stoked. But shout out to Bored Ape Yacht Club that they still at least do the exclusive event in Ape Fest every year. Lisbon was awesome. I missed Hong Kong. I'm excited for Vegas. Like, they still do it. And I think like that is one thing that NFTs do miss out on now that you're mentioning it. I had not thought about this till Big Cause brought it up, but yeah, like this exclusive, like think about it. When we were going to NFT NYC events in 2022 or Art Basel events in like 2022, 2023, we're like, are you going? And we'd be like, I'm not a holder. I can't go. Like, real discussion. Or I only have 1+1. I already gave it up. That just doesn't exist anymore. And it's weird because, to your point, it's not meant to be pretentious or like, look at me or I own this expensive thing, but it does drive down appeal of owning something when, again, like Joey Val's one of the early people to say it to me where he's like, I can get into it.
I bought a World of Women Galaxy to go to the gala in Art Basel that year. I still hold it. I don't regret it. It was good. It was money well spent. I've spent more money, and it wasn't cheap at the time, but I'm sure I spent more money to go to an event before than I did that. Like, why did we get away from that model? What happened? What changed?
Well, royalties, one. So like, because there's no royalties, there's no profit center there for people to say like, okay, buying a club membership gets you something. Traditional club memberships do have a fee, so they didn't have an annual fee coming in. So running exclusive events is harder. So expanding and making money has to be done differently.
But I would say if you do an exclusive event, you're gonna have less attendees. You open up to everyone, which is more expensive. Like I would think like royalties or not, it's
better sponsors if it's bigger.
Huh?
Better sponsors if it's bigger, probably. No.
Maybe. And I don't see sponsors at all these larger events. It's just like, I don't know. Like I hear you, but like you open up to more people. Maybe that's it. I don't know. Someone should start actually doing NFT exclusive events again. Ape Fest works. Like people turn out in droves every year. Why they're the only one that's still, and I shouldn't keep saying the only one. I'm sure there's others that still do it. I'm sure Pudgy will have a gated event in Miami at Art Basel. It just seems like it went from the only way to get into an NFT event was you had to hold the asset to where come one, come all.
Like there was a time when like going to events, the price goes up and then the price went down after the event because people would buy to go to the
you
event.
Could trade it. You could trade into events. You could buy sell, as the event, get out before the sell-off happens afterwards. And this is probably the right answer.
Yeah, this is exactly what I mean. This is the model we suggested with the what's it called? With the if Ape Fest turned into a concert type series years ago, it's like Von Brunton says, do both. Bring in the masses and sponsors for general admission, apes only with bottle service and backstage passes, make money and create FOMO. Like that's it, because people attend the event, they'll be like, oh my God, what an amazing event. And then you see pictures of people who are holders with like Snoop Dogg, and you're like, okay, I want to do that. So that's the model that we had talked about, tiered membership, tiered, ways to bring people into the club. I think it's just, but honestly, like what NFT communities are there that really exist anymore that do this sort of, like Azuki had an event. It was technically gated. It was in LA. Some people went to it, right? It was
gated. I don't know. Was it gated?
I think so, but I don't think it would have been hard to get in if like people knew a friend of a friend or reached out. Like I'm guessing you could have gotten in if you wanted to, but like what communities even come to mind that could do that anymore? Yuga does it. Bored Apes. That's still a strong community there. Like Pudgy could do it, but like they're trying to expand and I don't think they care. And they kind of do it.
They should care is my point. I think they should care. I think they have a really incredible core community, and I'm not saying they got to do their version of Ape Fest, but I think they should continue to do the exclusive events for those holders. It's like, it does add value to the underlying utility. Like, I know it's not for everyone, but if you have one event a year that's a banger event, it helps you justify the cost of the asset. Like, I'm going to do this thing every year for the rest of my life. Yeah, I don't care if the floor price goes up and down, because what I paid for it it's worth it. I divide it over 10 years. It's a fraction of the cost what I pay to go to, a few events. Like, it's just like, that is an easy way. And again, do the Von Front route, but just anytime you're doing an event, I'm sharing this for all NFT founders and leaders, like, do something. If you're going to open up to the public, have free merch, free swag for your holders. Do something. Make your holders feel special. I think that in a nutshell, that's what we've gotten away from. NFTs, native NFT brands at large have gotten away from the utility that they can provide with these things. That exclusivity, that I want this because I get this. And I don't know if it's, there was like, oh, we're some call it a corporate extractive error, or like, oh, we just don't, you can buy, you have the privilege of buying stuff, which like you don't have to buy things, but even there, like, offer a discount, offer, gated drops. Like,
sounds like you like VFriends more today.
It just sounds like, have we not, like, what really, like, it used to be so much of the NFT landscape was utility. And then I think we started talking, oh, now these brands have utility debt because people bought tops and they're expecting this utility for life. So, and then it's just like, now it just feels like collectively the space is started veering off of in real life utility. And I understand the thought of bringing in more people. I still doesn't make sense to me why they go away from providing those perks and benefits. Because sometimes it's like you could go big and someone said bottle service and VIP, or you could just have a free Lululemon fanny pack for holders only.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's not your jam, but like
that's a shot at King though for those that are.
Hey, David Blaine was there. Adam Fern walked around with David Blaine all night. Adam Fern from Proof of Play, and like, actually, hilarious moment. I don't know if Funky's out there listening or if he's already at work. We're at the pizza place, so I went Ceres, I think it is CERES. Adam Fern used to go to this pizza place all the time. Adam Fern from Proof of Play, if people don't know, from Pirate Nation, all them. It's the best pizza I've ever had in my life. And it's in New York. And he used to go there, not every day, but he used to go there regularly. He liked it. Then Dave Portnoy shows up and gives it the highest pizza review he's ever given it. Highest pizza review in the history of Dave Portnoy pizza reviews. And now you basically show up for breakfast to get a lunch slice. It's like impossible to get a slice there. Adam rented it out for NFT NYC. So we're there and I meet him and Funky and some other people. He gotten like, and Adam goes, I love Magic. And Funky starts going, oh, bro. He's like, I've loved Magic for a long time. And Funky just goes on this tear of, me too, bro. Oh, my God. I had a Black Lotus in college and da-da-da, and I did this, and like starts naming Magic the Gathering. And like Funky goes on and he's rolling for a minute. And Brad and Adam Fern are kind of looking at each other because we knew that he misunderstood. And we were just kind of like, let him cook for a minute. And then we stopped and we're like, no. Like, we like a Magic, like illusions and tricks, not like Magic the Gathering. And it was a hilarious moment. We all cracked up about it. I guess David Blaine was at that Moonbirds thing. Adam Fern like followed him around all night. He was super cool, and he still couldn't figure out how he was doing all these tricks because he was that good, and he's kind of like Magic forward. But the point I was going to make, Cap, is I know it's not your jam as much as mine. This is why I'm so obsessed with VFriends, even if I don't do the stuff. I didn't end up buying any sticker packs. I still might buy a couple from my VF2 because I have those too. So VFriends created a website that connected all your stuff with a single social sign-on before anybody else that I know of, and you only had to connect your assets once, and it could read into your wallet. They give access. Think of what just happened the past, 2 days. 24-hour access to buy up to 12 sticker packs for VFriends 1 holders at a discounted price. For $15 more, VFriends 2 holders for the next 24 hours can buy less packs, and then there's a public auction type thing. It might not be for everybody, but for that community, and by the way, they only airdrop tickets for VCon to the people who have VFriends. So if you want to get a VCon ticket, you have to get it from a VFriend. This is sort of what you're saying you want more brands to be doing. Now, whether you like VFriends or it's your thing or not, which it is for me, but it's not for everybody, is fine. But to your point, there are brands that are still doing it and thinking of it the right way.
It's the power of NFTs. You can do this for anything. You can do it for pack rips or cards and stickers like VFriends is. You can do it for events and different levels of access. You can do it for merch and different levels of access and discounts. I'm just gonna say, I think if you're not doing this for your NFT holders, it's a miss. You're missing another point. You only have so many activations a year. You only have so many times a year to touch a customer, a user, a community member, whatever you want to call all of us. And anytime you do something where you don't deliver some sort of perk or utility for your NFT holders, it's a miss. In range that more than one person decides to exit the community because that's what they like. They like getting those perks and that added utility for holding this asset. And if done right, it shouldn't be a cost center. Maybe you're diluting your revenue a little bit, but I'd argue you'd probably sell more stuff doing it this way. I bet VFriends going to sell a hell of a lot more stickers because they're offering those perks than if they just sold it to everyone at retail. There'd be holders who would not buy because they don't see the value in buying something at retail. Just like Big Cuss said earlier, people don't want things that everyone else can have.
Yeah, it was part of the appeal, and it's gone. It's a great point. It's something where I didn't know we were going to go down this route this morning. I do find it and it's part of it was we also have to be intellectually honest that the exclusivity isn't the only thing. It was random airdrops that people had demand for, which part of the reason people had demand for, though, was because they were an asset from that group, right? A mutant got you into the club when apes were expensive. A other deed got you into other side when that's what they were, that's the thing they're building. Like all these things are very, but like part of it was financial.
I got to push back on something on the financial piece though. And I respect with these people, but Lore says it's impossible for NFT founders to find lifetime utility without a continuous flow of capital. Product says anyone expecting lifetime utility is ignorant and just wants bags to go up so that it can exit. I respectfully hard disagree. This is part of the beauty of NFTs. This is why a lot of people hold NFTs is for lifetime utility for these collections. I'm not saying it's free shit forever, but utility doesn't have to be free shit. You can create utility out of thin air. Like we've seen it with token drops all the time. And for the examples we've used, you have a party, you get sponsors to pay. There's your flow of capital, if royalties or not. You do the same thing they're doing now. The only difference is everyone who's a holder, you scan in with your token proof and you get something, a digital collectible that costs them nothing. You get I can't even think of the name of it now. The sack that Steve likes. Why can't I think of this name? It's so bad.
The sack that I like? What are you talking about? Here?
Around your waist.
A fanny pack? The sack that Steve likes. I didn't have that one this morning on my bingo card. That was
you give a fanny pack to your holders. Like it doesn't. I'm not expecting free stuff forever. Businesses, traditional businesses, not in crypto, not in Web 2, they've been doing this for decades, maybe centuries. Like I go to Publix, and because I'm a loyal customer, I can get some discounts. I can cash out some rewards programs. Like this is really no different than lifetime rewards programs for Delta members. It's different in the sense that you bought something early, you bought an asset that gets you those rewards. But I just do they have to have continuous flow of capital to survive? Yes, but that's just to stay in business. Like I don't think you absolutely can offer lifetime utility without with these NFTs. You just can't give away everything for free. That's what I'm trying to draw the line there. Like, and I think that's what's missing is I do believe a lot of Web3 teams, they thought, oh, royalties are gone. We can't offer you lifetime utility anymore. Yes, you can. It doesn't have to be the same lifetime utility you always did. Like look at Ape Festival. Like you had to pay for your +1 last year, right? Is that right?
I can't remember.
Maybe it was a deposit. But like I don't expect everything to be free. I expect perks because that's just part of the model. It's always been part of the model.
I mean, I bought a Staple Pigeon shirt at the Ape Chain event. Like, I'll buy stuff. I'm not like above buying things at these things. I don't think it should all be free, but there are ways. I don't know. Abstract OpenSea event did a pretty good job, I thought. I know this isn't necessarily exclusive because there was a lot of people and they sort of had mass approvals, but like, Ape Fest, Abstract OpenSea event, like, they had a mint there, which people were able to sell or use or get a XP for. Actually didn't work when I went to it, but like, it was there. You put your address in, you got XP on OpenSea. They had hats that they were giving away, and they had like, some really, like, I actually really like the hats. They're well done. People who did certain activities were able to get more merchandise and more things. So like, there are things that they can do. Like, you can do it. It's just, I guess your point is like, yeah, like how, like, and people were like, oh, it's not doable. It's not easy, but it's also, I think it is doable. Like you said, sponsors charge for certain things. Like there's certain opportunities where you could upcharge, but like, I don't know, like there's probably something there that is missing from that exclusivity bucket, to your point, where like, I also like, this also goes back to, and I know we got to jump down to like more, and daily market update and stuff. So we'll get to those in a minute, but like, I also think like, there's been this miss that we talked about again 2-3 years ago. There's never been a membership director at any of these clubs. Like when I was a caddy at a golf club when I was in high school, they had a membership director, they had a caddy master, they knew what people's preferences were. Someone would come into the shop and be like, "Oh my God, like my size is out in this pullover hoodie. Let me special order it for you." Like there was a director who made sure that all these things were done, and because of it, they knew what changes should come to the club. They knew what sort of merchandise they'd want, things like that. Like, I don't understand why the clubs didn't go that model where they had a membership director who was on the phone regularly. Like, what do you want? What do you want? And like, try to decipher the signal from the noise. But like, I think there could be more targeted products if you actually were talking to your customer more versus just listening to the timeline. And I just don't think that happened as much, I think when money was being printed. So I think there was that aspect of it too. That said, Cap, we should probably hit our daily market update and maybe more, you want to do daily market update?
Yeah, let's do it. Before we do though, Crypto G says, even if it's free drink or two at these events, if it's not token gated, the holders should definitely get something non-holders will get. Here's the easiest answer. Stop open bars. Stop doing open bars and spending $10, $50, $100,000 on drinks. Give your holders a couple drink tickets. If the non-holders want a drink, they can buy their drinks. Like stop spending your treasury on alcohol at these events. Do drink tickets. Like it's very normal. No one's going to be pissed if you say, "Oh, no open bar. You only get 3 drink tickets."
Yeah, 3 or 4 drink tickets, right? And then it's like, if you want to do out there, that could be. And then by the way, there's enough people that don't drink that it's like you'll be like, I have 3 or 4 drink tickets, and you'll give them all, give them to people who are drinking, and so the people will be able to do their thing. But that's one example of it. Like there's so many examples that exist like that. Let's hit daily market update real quick though.
The daily market update straight to your brain. Powered by ApeCoin, no hype, just gains. Moving on 8chain, we bringing the heat. NFTs, Feds Alpha never miss a beat. 8chain on top, now we bringing the flex. The home of NFTs, these now what's next?
Come on, my head time, money for the time, and chop for one time.
It is time for the daily market update powered by ApeCoin, the home of NFTs. ApeChain has it all, bringing culture, fun, and community to the blockchain. Dive in and see why ApeChain is on top. Cap.
We're back, baby. ETH leading the charge. Big day yesterday. And not just in price action, sentiment is shifting. We're finally getting the media tours, long way awaited. Bitcoin up 1% to 109,512. ETH over 2,600 for once. It broke the magnet from 25. It's 2660, up 3% on the day. XRP up 4% to 239. Solana up 2% to 154, despite the rampant FUD on the timeline. Doge up 2% to 0.17. Cardano up 5% to 61 cents. Runes are still there. In the meme coin streets, we got Doge up 2%, Sheeb up 2%, Pepe up 4%, Trump up 4%, Bonk giving up some of the gains, down 5%. Not sure why. Curious if anyone has any takes on why Bonk would be red on for most all intents and purposes, pretty green day. SPX, Morag Coin up 7% on the day. Hype up 3% on the news of the Phantom Perps deal. Rect up 1% again. Pingu flat. Ape up a couple percent. And like I said, mostly green day in the world of tokens. It looks like the TradFi market flat across the board. And our favorite NFTs, kind of a bloody day in NFT land as ETH rips. We got punks are flat, still hovering. They regained their 100K threshold, and I think that math still puts them above that mark. You might have guessed there's an OpenSea farm. As you see, DX Terminal and Larva Lads, most people already did their farm, and now the sell-off is beginning. 11,000 of those. I did complete my buy and sell of a Larva Lad yesterday. Pepe Mons was a new mint. I think mint price was 0.03 maybe. Did quite a bit of volume. I don't think they've revealed yet. Let's see. Yeah, still unrevealed. One to keep an eye on. I actually attempted to buy a couple yesterday at 0.03 and didn't go through, and I got distracted and moved on. Azuki 1.67, Mutant Apes 1.67, and then one not pictured here, but I saw someone pull up a chart earlier, was Kaido Genesis, also 1.67. So basically Mutant Apes, Azuki, and the Kaido Capybaras, all the same price. Steve, if you had 1.7 ETH and you had to hold one of those for the next year and you couldn't sell it, which one are you taking? Mutants, Azuki, or Kaido Capybara?
That's it's a good buy, sell, burn. So I have an ape. If I have to spend it and hold it for a year, I guess because there might be another TGE coming, probably the Kaido Capybara. I guess. It's hard though, actually, because I don't own Azuki. I could see, upward momentum from those. A Mutant Ape, I feel like, is always a fun thing to own. Like, not even about the price going up, down, whatever. I like, I just like Mutant Apes. But I think just Kaido Capybaras, if they're going to be giving away, if there's the opportunity to get airdrops from owning it, I could just sell my staked Kaido and keep that and then leave that as is. So that might be, honestly, that might be the move anyway for anybody who has a certain amount of staked Kaido. Is like, I imagine they're going to reward those NFT holders at some point. So yeah, I think that's the answer. You say the same. If you buy, sell, burn, what do you do there?
Burn the Azuki, buy the Kaido, and sell the ape.
Same. I think same exact way.
And I guess I probably should have rewarded if I didn't already hold apes. If I didn't have an ape mutant, like I may change my answer, but looking at my current stack, I would
same. If I didn't own anything from own an ape or a mutant, like a mutant's the buy there for me. But because I own the ape, the copy bar is the buy there for me.
Back to the rest of the update here. Little Pudgy's down a little bit. Pudgy's gave up 9 ETH down to 8.9, down 2% of the day. And Codas, the green standout on a red day in NFT land, up 8% to 1.29 as we get closer and closer to other side. I saw some more clips from Von Doom on the new game they have launched in there. Excited to get in there and play that. Looks like they did a pretty big test yesterday. And then last but not least, I do need to hit on Goblin Town. It's showing down 16% of the day, but you see almost 300 sales. It ran up following the announcement of the token. They dropped Gob, and then the sell-off, I'm assuming, post-claim. And I still have a Goblin. I'm guessing I have like $11. I think I saw to go claim, but it's like a weekly payment. I saw it was announced last night. I should have read more about it this morning. That's our daily market update brought to you by ApeChain. ApeChain on top. I'm curious, Steve, did you read into the Gob token? Are you aware of it at all? I just saw it launch. I haven't claimed. I haven't paid any attention, but
I'm kind of over the NFT token. Like, no, I didn't read into it. I just, like, I'll give examples where, like, you talk bullish about Rect, and I love Rect. Like, that's a good example of, like, they're doing work, makes sense, tied to the, utility or whatever. All these tokens, like, I've got Grind on a Moonshot wallet I don't even go to that I may or may not sell $25 and do something with. I've got, like, seeing Gob drop. I'm like, what are we doing here? Are we just dropping these? Like, I like AJT, so, like, I'm sure maybe there's more thought behind it. He doesn't do anything low effort, which I appreciate, but, like, I don't know. Like, it's not bad giving some holders money, but, like, what are we doing here? Like, why? Like, I see everybody saying they're trying to fix the meme coin meta. Like, what are they trying to fix here? Like, I don't understand Grind fully and how it fixes any meme coin meta. It seems just like another meme coin to me. I don't know. I think there's just more opportunity now that the laws are a little more lax and people are dropping memes. Like, good for them. I'm not going to stop anybody from being entrepreneurial and going and starting a business. Not my journey, not my jam. And I just doesn't do anything for me. Like, I want to read the rec paper. Like, I haven't read the rec paper. I want to read the rec paper.
So you should. And then noteworthy, I put this out yesterday, and I wasn't aware, or I was kind of surprised to see how many people weren't familiar or were big fans, rather, I should say, of Google's Notebook LM, where you can upload any source material. So I uploaded the rec paper, and then I hit generate, and it basically creates a podcast with 2 AI voices that they discuss the white paper or the rec paper. It's not like fully comprehensive. It's a good, like, primer. It's a good TLDR, especially if you're like me, where I prefer, like, I consume a lot of content. I consume a lot of written content. Most of the written content I consume is audio form. And that's not always an option. Not everyone, like Steve, does their readers a courtesy of dropping the audio version with their Substack. But this is what I was trying to pull up. I'll pin this up top too if anyone's curious. Yeah, if you're like me, like, play around with the Google Notebook LM. It's really good. I just basically dropped the rec paper into it. It spit out like a 5-minute podcast essentially. I think what I may go back and do today is ask them to not just provide their commentary and their takes on it. I think I'm going to ask them to read me the entire white paper and then summarize with your takeaways, because it doesn't hit on everything, but it's a good, like, I'm curious your thoughts on it. But yeah, Notebook LM from Google is pretty sound, and it made me realize I need to use it more. Like, it's kind of funny. I think I've done like the Bitcoin white paper, I've done the rec paper, and a few other things, but yeah, I'll drop that up top if you're not familiar.
Do you have to pay? Because I thought you had to pay for Notebook. Because I remember when Outer Lumen came on and put my profile in the Notebook, and I felt really good about myself because I read all sorts of nice things about me, and they did like a podcast. Like she put my Twitter profile into it, and they read all sorts of stuff about it. But I thought you had to pay for Notebook, so I need to look at that then, because I think that's a going to be a powerful tool for sure.
I lost you for a second on the audio. YouTube would have kept you, but yeah, you don't have to pay for it. It's entirely free, and I mean there might be paid features, but what I use is entirely free, and I've not even used it to its fullest potential. Like you can add notes, you can chat with it, you can give it directions. I usually just upload something and say hit the generate button, and it spits out a quick review.
Yeah, I need to make use of that for sure. Let's do this because I want to talk ETH in a minute, but let's do the more you know first. I will do more you know, and then we can jump into like maybe close it out with sort of like maybe ETH's finally having a moment for the 50th time. But I'm serious. I'm for serious this time. We'll talk about that.
The more you know, brought to you by ENS.
It's time for the more you know. It's time for the more you know, brought to you by ENS. And look, I mean, we had Chris up here with an impromptu appearance from Rally. Was going to hit on that today. Let's talk about Rally. Rally started as a wallet-centric app designed to make NFTs more accessible on mobile. It rebranded from Floor and quickly became one of the most trusted self-custody wallets in the space, supporting multiple blockchains and integrating social features to help users track collections, friends, and communities. I know I use Floor app. I have a Floor app NFT. I loved it personally. Now it's officially part of OpenSea's push to become on-chain everything app, blending NFTs, NFT trading, token swaps, and DeFi into a seamless experience. With Rally's team on board, OpenSea is doubling down on mobile, aiming to bring trading, social features, and multi-chain access to the palm of your hand. Chris Maddern, who we just had on the show this morning, Rally's co-founder, is joining OpenSea as CTO, while Christine Hall, his co-founder, becomes the chief of staff. And that's not just an acquisition, that's a leadership bet on building the next generation of mobile-first Web3 tools. It's a big win for OpenSea, a smart move for Rally, and another signal that the future of crypto is mobile. And that's the More You Know, brought to you by ENS. ENS does more than you know, not just anchoring your name across Web3, but anchoring across the internet. It's your identity, simple, memorable, and unmistakably yours. Security, interoperability, and ease of use. Go to ens.domains to learn more and secure your ENS domain today. I know we hit on it, so I won't stick too long on it, but I don't know, man. I've always loved abstract. All right, I've always loved Floor app. I was gonna say, and I used it to track things back in the day. I stopped looking at it at one point when my floors got sad, but you know, exciting there. ETH. Is this the for real? Are we actually gonna see some ETH cooks?
Yeah, I think so. We're finally seeing what I thought we would see when the ETFs launched. I don't know why it took them so long. Like when they first launched, like they put Pomp on mainstream media to talk about ETH. He's a Bitcoin bull. Like it made no sense. Larry Fink maybe did one interview about ETH after hitting dozens about the Bitcoin ETF. It just made no sense to me why no one ever pumped it. We're not going to go back to conspiracies with Cap, but maybe they just wanted to slow play this and pack their bags before they started pumping it. But just like in the last couple of weeks, we've seen our friend Tommy Lee. We've seen it's a joke there. If you missed Modern Market, it's Tom.
His name is Tom Lee. Yeah, Tom Lee.
Tom Lee is a very successful investor. We've seen Tom Lee. We've seen Joe Lubin. They're making Vlad from Robinhood. Like they're making the media tour now, pounding the ETH drum, and we're seeing the ETH strategic reserve companies spin up. Like the market's loving it. Like it's just, who knows? It could very well go backwards from here. But like, I'll see if I can pull it up. AIXPT tweeted out yesterday. I'll take it as if it's fact. In the last 30 days, treasuries have bought 200,000 ETH. Net issuance of ETH during that same time period is only 57,000. ETFs hold 4.11 million ETH. 112,000 ETH moved to staking yesterday. Basically, the demand over the last 30 days, just from the institutional demand of treasury companies buying ETH, it's running about 4x the supply. So you're seeing demand in the big buying power start coming in. We're seeing the media presence finally. The strategic ETH reserve. I don't know. Let me see if I can share this.
There was somebody who switched over from like a Bitcoin reserve to an ETH reserve, which shocked me because they're, patently different things. It's like interesting because like if you move from one stock to the next, they're at least sort of the same things, even if they're in different industries. This is bizarre because they're the same industry, but they're such very different things, like hard cap, slow chain, original, sort of digital gold thesis. The other one is just very different as far as the business model and what it is. So, I found that fascinating. But if you're gonna buy while you're pulling it up, it's like I just didn't understand why ETH hasn't caught up. Again, it still blows my mind to think ETH was $4,000 in December, and we had that run that like feels like a fever dream. But if you're gonna buy Bitcoin, here, click on the image and it'll make it the tweet a little bigger too. If you're gonna buy Bitcoin as a strategic reserve, is it like, and you're trying to get into crypto, like, is it the next logical thing you buy? I know in our space we're like, no, you buy hype or like fart coin or what, and I get that. I understand what people are saying, but like, if you are a traditional finance person and there are two commodities that exist on the market because they're sufficiently decentralized and not securities, and they have ETFs and they have the opportunity to buy them, easily that way, and they're going to be allocated into retirement funds and things like that, to exist, you think the second one would be one that these traditional finance people will be buying if they are getting onto the crypto train, which seems to be what's happening now.
Yep. And if you think about it, Bitcoin does have a supply cap. They're obviously ETH bulls, probably ETH maxis. This strategic ETH reserve.xyz is a pretty good website. They're saying ETH is set to become the world's #1 reserve asset. May sound crazy today. There's already, per this math, 3.4 billion. It's not crazy over the long enough timeline, right? Like, there's just not enough Bitcoin for all the companies in the world. Not all, but those that might be interested in this. I could see there is a path to where ETH actually could become. And you also have how many of these companies, not even the ones that are in and decide to pivot from Bitcoin to ETH, how many may think like, oh, well, we missed the Bitcoin strategic reserve push. What's next? And I think it'd be hard pressed to find like logic and ration to support anything other than ETH at this point being the next serious, strategic reserve asset.
Yeah, I agree. But I mean, I've been wrong on this theory for so long. It's like death taxes and ETH not going up and just getting absolutely slaughtered. I am less bullish on Solana. I've debated like unstaking Solana and just kind of holding it just in case and just being a little more careful with it. Because I'm with everything. I don't want to say Kook got in my head with this theory about the pump fund chain and all the other chains, but like, my smooth brain Solana take is that it's an American asset. It's got VC funding. It's going to do just fine. It's going to do well, and it's going to get an ETF, and it's going to catch a bid. It's inflationary. It's effectively a security. It's centralized in many ways. If you, people will argue and debate that one, but like, I don't know. Like, I like ETH better. I think ETH does more. I think it has more applications. I think layer 2s are going to be built, and that's going to be the run. Like, I don't know. So I think traditional finance coming towards it is going to make more sense. And like, I don't have like nearly the bets I should on ETH. Like, in theory, I probably should be smarter about how, like, I don't hold as much ETH as I once did. I've spent some money on JPEGs. It's been dumb. I've cashed out some ETH because it doesn't really move. So I've cashed out some for cash, but I've debated of whether I should push basically Bitcoin ETH and just get out of all other things at the moment. Maybe Solana's stupid to get out of because you can stake it and you earn a large percentage on it. It's just, I don't know. Like, I'm becoming more and more drawn towards ETH as the asset that I want to hold. So, I don't know. That's the direction I go as far as like, Bitcoin and ETH. And I'm also just getting tired of chasing. So like, I don't know that I want to keep chasing like alts unless I feel really good about them. Like I don't have hype. I know you're big on hype. Like hype's one alt that I understand people chasing. Like some of these make sense to me. That's just one that I don't know. Just my drive seems to be to go more into these things, and the traditional finance media tour makes me more excited because you look at what Bitcoin's done since the Bitcoin ETF has dropped, and different assets, different reasonings, they had a halving, all those things, but I don't know, feels like positive momentum, I guess.
Yeah, no, I definitely, I mean, could sentiment shift next week? Sure. But there was very clearly to me a market shift in sentiment and mainstream media. That's got to continue, but I think we might actually be getting an ETH season. You know, I like you. I'm not making moves with those long-term bags yet, but if I were, I absolutely would cut Solana before I would cut ETH. I'm glad I didn't capitulate on ETH as I've been, complaining about it for the last couple of years. But see, I think the thesis is playing out. The price action just wasn't up only like we might have expected.
Yeah, and it's slower. I think it's just slower than we expected as well. So, but I do feel overall good about it. That said, I mean, I like the only other topic I had on for today. Like, we can hit quick hitters if we need to. Wall Chain's giving away some cash. I don't know if you saw that. Wall Chain, it's like 12,000 USDC for like top 30 quackers. So that's just a new one. I'll pin up top. I put some information about it, but I kind of thought it was a fun campaign. They did a little storytelling. Yuri won some money in Vegas and decided to do a 30-day leaderboard. And I like the fact they're using the 30-day leaderboard because, like, basically they're giving away, the top 8 quackers get 800 USD, the rest get 400 USD. It's happening, it's almost like a Kaido staking airdrop. It's happening, although a little bigger than that for most people. It's happening in, I believe, 9 days. I believe it's happening on the 17th. So if you're not a quacker, you have time to catch up. If you're already a quacker that's been quacking for 30 days, you're already probably in a great spot. And, fun storytelling. So if you haven't done that, something to participate in to potentially go grab some cash, if you want. So that one's out there as well. I had that out there. I just had a general, like, when airdrops sort of thought that I had out in the wild, which is like, not like I'm pressuring anybody. They got to do what's best for them. But you're sitting here with Mega ETH. They got Fluffles out in the wild. They've talked about sort of a TG at some point. OpenSea's obviously working on something. Abstract's working on something. I know Think Token's out there in the wild as well. And I'm sure I'm forgetting a litany of others. It's like, I just don't know when these things are coming. And I think it's interesting that, like, there's all these, like, grinding, farming, points, XP systems, etc. And I'm just sitting here like, when airdrop? So I don't know. Like, that one's interesting to me too, where I'm like kind of like poking around being like, there's a lot of things. Are they all just waiting until Q4? Are they waiting to kick the can down the road? Are they waiting for, like, what are they waiting for? So that came to mind as well. Is like, at some point, like, because I don't know about you. Like, you mentioned the OpenSea quest as an example. I'm not doing anything crazy on Abstract. I know you aren't either. I am getting a little like emotionally exhausted by all the farming, which I know is on me, but it's like, at some point these have to come. And it's like the amount of farming mechanisms that we're waiting on long term. I should probably just short term just dive into Polkadot and try to get on that leaderboard, but that part I think is exhausting me. So just want to throw that out there as well. It's like, I'm just like sitting here like, I don't know if anybody else is feeling that way. It's like, when Abstract, I know we're talking Q4 for that. When OpenSea, I don't think we know. Like, when Mega ETH, all these things that I think people are involved in, at some point there has to be a TGE. So that came to mind as well. But anything else on your tick list for today?
Just last thought on the lifetime access, lifetime benefits. I don't understand. I'm kind of confused. While there's some in the space, NFT holders that are like so adamantly opposed against this, because it was. I'm not saying we were sold lifetime access, but we were sold lifetime access, lifetime benefits, lifetime perks. It doesn't mean free shit forever, but it's actually very common. I'm not like, I respect Lord Praddock. They're great ones. I'm confused why the flip in sentiment to, like, all of a sudden defending, they shouldn't give us perks or utility forever because royalties went away. Like, royalties aren't the only way for businesses to make money. Just an couple, I mean, some of these I was familiar with, but just did a quick search because he said, name another industry you're pay for something once and get benefits for the rest of your life. I just listed off 10. REI Co-op, the New Yorker, it's offered at certain times. Tesla full self-driving, National Parks Pass. Once you're 62, you can buy a National Park Pass, go to all the national parks, never pay a dime in the rest of your life. Same thing with many RV clubs like Passport America. There's AARP, AMA, IEE, all these professional organizations. You pay a one-time due.
You got Josh Ong, shout out there. Josh Ong at number 9.
The lifetime garden pass or the lifetime pasta pass at Olive Garden. A lot of cruises. You don't have to buy it. Once you qualify from your loyalty program, you're locked in for life for their elite tier perks and benefits. Brilliant. Like there's a lot of this exists today. It wasn't new to NFTs. NFTs just provided a better vehicle to the idea of a lifelong club access, lifelong club benefits and perks. There's probably some country clubs that you pay dues one time and then only pay discounted greens fees or something. I didn't even use that as an example because most of the country clubs I'm familiar with, it's an initiation fee and it's either annual dues or you have to have a minimum monthly social spend at the clubhouse. But there's a lot of examples. I'm not saying they can't generate revenue. They should. There's just because royalties are diminished doesn't mean that these NFT brands who built businesses around the idea of clubs and lifetime access doesn't mean they should stop offering perks and benefits because royalties aren't what they once were. I don't think.
Yeah, it's just it's there's ways to do it that might make sense. And like, by the way, like we didn't like, and the problem is like when you sell a utility-based NFT, it's like I get the impression that some founders like see, or not necessarily founders, but some teams and founders, like they sometimes see like holders as a nuisance, which I understand. They can be a pain in the ass and they can be demanding and they just want price go up. And it's hard to have signal versus noise. I don't know, man. Like and by the way, I use that phrase forever and now I got to stop because every InfoFi thing talks about signal versus noise. So I got to find a new phrase to like use because it sounds like I'm just, parroting InfoFi. I don't know. Like there's gotta be a way to do it. And it's like, it's a new business model, figure it out. And like, if you do a good job, more people buy it. And by the way, implement a new royalty system, like block sales on certain sites and only use royalties, have it, create a contract that says if your royalty wasn't paid, you don't get utility. Like there's a lot of things you can do to try to solve the problem. But,
I was going down the path. I just didn't find the right Dune chart. I may do some more research and look at it tomorrow. Because I'm kind of curious now. Because there has been, like you mentioned, there's been a lot of contracts upgraded. There's been like the marketplaces aren't, beating the no royalty drum anymore. I'm curious what I want to pull up the right Dune chart. If anyone has it handy, send it over. I thought I had it favorited, but I don't. I wanted to see like, the blue chips. What have they brought in royalties over the first 6 months of the year? I think some people might be surprised. Like royalties aren't zero. I know they weren't what all of them raised on or their valuations in 21, 22, but unless this is wrong, like there's been over 10 million in royalties paid just in the last 90 days. And that's not going to thousands. I mean, maybe it is thousands. It's not going to hundreds of thousands of NFT collections. That 10 million in royalties is probably, I'd guess 80% of it is split up amongst maybe 20 collections.
Yeah. And I just, it's become more of a default thing where like you have to click it off. So it's like, it's like there's still opportunity there. So I think there's like, again, I'm not saying like it's got to be out of control, crazy utility. Like, or again, like if forget lifetime utility, like, is there a world where there's certain utility pays dues?
Access to utility. You can get early access. You can be exclusive access. Like I know if you want to, we got to sell more, so we got to open it up to everyone. Cool. Give your holders first access. Give them a 10% discount. If you can't bake in 10% discount into your margins, you're pricing your shit wrong.
Yeah, agree. So I don't know.
Throttle the price up 10% and then give your holders that same discount. You'll make more margin off the retail people. Like it's not hard. It's really not that hard. It's hard to do free stuff forever. I wholeheartedly agree. I do not expect that. I do expect utility for the rest of my life for some of these collections.
Yeah. I think that, so I think that, anyway, net, Agree with you. Would like to see it, and I think it was a great point this morning that we Big Cuz
Down
got us
bad.
into.
Down bad.
Duke Puke.
No. I told you he was ornery this morning. He just destroyed my unopened box of Wrecked Abstract Apple. So I tried to keep the box pretty. Should have not left it in range of Duke, but yeah, I may as well drink him now.
All right, let's let you get Duke out of here then, because we have hit 10 a.m. and he's clearly a little restless. Needs a little bit of a walk. He's got that puppy energy. So
we missed Clutch Market Parlay of the day by 1 yesterday. We hit 2 out of 3. Got a little aggressive going 3 underdogs. Almost nailed it. My hometown Rays let us down. So I'll get another one of those. Wednesday we have check. Go ahead with any other thoughts, and I will. Randomly turn on accessibility.
Yeah, that'll happen. That'll get you.
Looks like few afternoon games today. May fire, but probably going to wait until like the 7 o'clock slate. So look on the timeline this evening for that Caps Clutch Market Parlay of the day.
Love it. We will check it out. I need to get back in the Billy streets. I had a bad run with Billy.
It's Guardians' fault.
Billy loved the Guardians. The Guardians did not love winning. So let everyone sail off in their day. Thanks to everyone who came through this morning. We will talk to everybody bright and early tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Eastern time. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, everybody.
Thanks for tuning into Coffee with Captain, powered by ApeCoin. We hope you enjoyed the show, and remember, nothing we discussed today is financial advice. Until next time, keep exploring, stay curious, and we'll see you soon. Have a great day.
Welcome to the future.